Okay, so we've now made the body, the stack. Hitch magnet you have to make on your own. That one is just 2 circles and an extrusion. Make sure that you label it hitch magnet when you make it. This one we are going to make the hitch peg, the axle peg, and the linkage peg. We're going to make all 3 pegs on one video. So we're going to go down here to the hitch peg first. Okay, so the hitch peg, we're going to do the same thing. So once again, we have a section view here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to sketch out this section view and we're going to revolve it around this axis. So when we go to Inventor, we're in a new part. We want to go to Save As, and we want to make this, which one is it? The hitch peg. Initials underscore hitch underscore peg. Okay, and we're saved. We have our part name in the browser. So we're going to start a 2D sketch. As you can see, I changed the color, and I'm hoping that this gets rid of that blurry background that we had in the body. So we're going to take a line, and we're going to go here, start on the axis first, here, here. Then I hit escape to get out of that line command, and then I'm going back, and I'm going to make that. Okay? I didn't do the arc yet. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to dimension everything first, and I'm going to add the arc last. So I want to dimension here, overall, from here to here, and the base. So when we come back, we have 0.25 divided by 2 because we're revolving it around an axis. There's actually one more dimension that I forgot to do. From the tip of this to here, we need to add that one. That's going to be 0.4 divided by 2 because when we revolve it around the axis, it will give us the 0.4. And then we have 0.5 and 0.65. So when I go back here, this one's 0.65. The overall height. This one is 0.5. This one is 0.25 divided by 2. And this one is 0.4 divided by 2. And there we go. So the last thing that we need to make for this one is the arc. This has a spherical radius of 0.208. Okay? So what that is from here to here, we can use the arc. And we go from here, and I click here, and you see the radius there. You want to make sure that we're not really, really small. We want to be somewhat close to it. So that is 0.208. So when we dimension this, we want to dimension this at 0.208. Enter. And then to finish it, we finish, revolve. Okay. Now, I forgot to do this on the bottom of the stack. So if you want to open up the stack and go back and add this, this has an optional edge at the bottom, which is called a chamfer. The one on the stack is the same thing. So if you want to open up the stack and do the same thing to the stack on this one, we're just going to go, and we're going to go back here, and we're going to select chamfer. And the pop-down window has a distance and an angle, and 2 distances. We're going to go distance and an angle because it was 0.1 by 45 degrees. So this asks the face. We want to click this face. It asks the edge. We want to click that edge. We want the distance to be 0.1, and we want the angle to be, I think it was 0.01. Hang on a second. Yeah, 0.01. 0.01, and it's already at 45-degree angle. And that gives us a nice chamfer in the bottom of that. And then if you want to go in here and change the color, I made it red before, so I'm going to stick with that. I'll go back and change the body to blue. I'm just going to make mine storm colors. You can make yours whatever you want. And red, good. Then we want to save it. File, save as. Make sure it's in your train engine folder, and then go ahead and save it. Replace it, yes. Okay. Actually, I don't want to go to save as. Let's just go to save. Then I don't have to change the name of it. All right. Now, File, New, Standard IPT, File, Save As. The next part is the axle peg. We got a lot going on here with the axle peg. So let's go back to Inventor, but it's going to be the exact same way. So I'm going to show you how to set this thing up real quick, and then we'll come back here and we'll change all the dimensions on this. So axle peg, initials, underscore, axle, underscore peg. Save. Okay. 2D sketch. We're going to start on the axis again. We're going to go up here. Oops. Actually, I'll show you how to fix that here in a second. We're going to go here, here, here. And if you have a line like this, I can just go on here and I can make this horizontal constraint, and I can click that and it automatically pops it down. Then I want to go back to line, and I want to make a line here and one that comes over here. Okay. The overall dimension of this guy is, this tells us how big the shaft of the peg is. It's 1 inch. Then this little tiny thing here is 0.31, but actually it says from here to the top is 0.125. So the overall is 0.1, 0.125. This guy is 1. And I think it's 1/4 inch. Let's go double check. Yes, it's a 1/4 inch. So the bottom one is a 1/4 inch. And this flat thing here is a diameter of 0.25, so that little line coming off is going to be 0.125. And then this little line that comes up is going to be 0.031. So this little line here is 0.031. This is 0.125. And this top part is 0.125. It's 1/4 inch divided by 2. Okay, so we have all the dimensions there. The last thing that we need to add is the same thing. We need to add this arc here. So if we go back and we look, it says the spherical radius of this arc is 0.236. So let's go back there and make that 0.236. Oop, there's one dimension that I forgot. This one is 0.422 divided by 2. So from here to here is 0.422 divided by 2. And this last one was spherical radius. So we have an arc here. Oops, selected the wrong spot. Arc. 3-point arc, which is 1 point, 2 point, and the third point is when you click and drag out. And this was 0.236. So Now we're going to finish it. We're going to revolve it. And select OK. Now, there are a couple different things that we have to add. We have to add the hex on the top, we have to add the chamfer, and then we have to add the threading. So the threading is going to be a 1/4 inch offset. The whole thing is not threaded. The threads are going to touch the interior threading portion of the train body, but this part here doesn't want to have any threads on it because that's going to be where the wheel goes. So when we go back in here, we're going to make threads. Thread. Okay, select cylinder. We're not going to do full length. We're going to do an offset of a 1/4 inch. Now, when it does this and it flips it, so right now when I apply it, it's not right. It's backwards. So when I go to specification, no, it's not specification. Let's click this face again. And there should be a direction arrow. There's not, though. So let's get out of here. Let's delete that thread. Let's go to thread. Let's click this. Actually, let's go to thread. Let's click offset 0.25. There we go. Okay, so if I pick the bottom, it's going to put the offset on the bottom. If I pick the top, it puts the offset on the top. So when we want the offset on the top. So if I click down, if I select down here, it makes it on the bottom. Select up here, it makes it on the top. And then hit apply. And then we got thread. I'm pretty sure the offset was 0.25. Yes, 1/4 inch. Okay. Now we want a chamfer. I'm pretty sure that the chamfer is the same. Chamfer is, nope, it's 0.03 instead of 0.01. So let's go chamfer, the second one where it's a face and an edge, 0.03, and we're already at 45 degrees. Let's apply that. Now what we want to do is we want to make a hex on this top. So if you go into 2D sketch, we want to select that top. We have up here, we have rectangle, we have all this different stuff. And then there is, where the heck is it at? It used to be right here next to rectangle. Where is that at? No. There we go. Polygon. Polygon. Okay. So we want to go back here, and we want to check this. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexagon has 6 sides. Okay. And then we're going to have 532 across flaps. That means from this side to this side is 5/32, and then the depth is 0.111. So when I go back here, I want to take this hex. It's on 6 sides. I want to start it directly in the center, and it doesn't really matter where you put it. Just go ahead and click that out. And then we want to dimension from here to here. What the heck happened? I think what happened here is we need to select another hex because it locked that in. So before it had that yellow line around it, if yours has that yellow line, it's not going to let you dimension. Now it'll let me dimension from here to here. 5 divided by 32. And we want to finish. And we want to extrude this 0.111, and we want to cut away. So it goes in. What the heck just happened? Extrude. This direction, cut away, 0.111, okay. Alright, so now this guy's done. And I'm going to make this one, let's make this one silver. So we can go in here, and instead of making it a color, I can also make it any one of these different materials. So if I select copper, it makes it copper. If I select stainless steel 44C, there we go, we got a little stainless steel going on. And then go ahead and file, make sure that it's in there. It should already be in there. Don't click save in there, save here, and then we're saved. So that one's done. Now it is time to do the last one for this video. We are going to do the linkage peg. This one is a little different. It's very similar to the hitch peg, but the hitch peg gave us this distance. This doesn't. Okay, so it's kind of tricky trying to figure that distance out because it doesn't give it that distance. So we need to make this the last part. We need to make this sphere first. So let's go in here, go to File, New, Standard IPT, File, Save As, Initials, underscore, what was this guy called again? Linkage peg. Initials, underscore, linkage, underscore peg. Save. Alright. Now, we just want to do the same setup as before, but we're only going to do this line, and this line. I didn't do this other line because we don't know what that distance is yet. So actually you can put one there, we're just not going to dimension it. So let's just put a little tiny one. Okay. Now, the overall height is 0.325, and then to that little line we just made is 0.25, and then the bottom has a diameter of 0.0625. So this is 0.0625 divided by 2. This is, I can't remember, I got to go back and check, but let's do both of these. I'm pretty sure it's 0.325, maybe I'm wrong. 0.325 and 0.25. Okay, so 0.325 and 0.25. Okay. Notice we always do the overall first. Whenever you do the overall first, things just seem to be much better. Alright. Now what we want to do is, this is a little tricky. So we have a spherical radius of 0.562. So I found that the easiest way to do this, I'm sure there are different ways, but if I put a point here, and then I dimension from the top, take the point, from the top to the point at 0.1562, now what I can do is I can take a circle and I can make this circle right here, and then all I have to do is hit coincident, which is this geometric constraint, and I can click on the top of the circle and the very top of this, and it locks it in, and then that automatically has that spherical radius of 0.1562. because from here to here is 0.1562, making the radius of this overall circle 0.1562. Now I have this line here. All I have to do is hit extend. I'm not sure why it doesn't like that. The curve being extended, trimmed, or split has a dimension. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get rid of this dimension. Let's extend. Let's get rid of this. Extend. There we go. Now go back and add this. Then trim. There we go. Now, when I finish, I'm going to revolve. Actually, let's do something. I just want to show you something just to make sure. So if we dimension this now, go back to our sketch. If we dimension this, this should have a radius 0.1562, and it does. Perfect. So, finish, revolve, done. Now, notice on the top of it, there is no dimple. If yours has a little dimple on the top, you made it wrong. I'm not sure if this one has a chamfer or not. Yes, let's throw a chamfer on the bottom of it. The second one, face here, edge here, distance 0.01. I don't think it was times 45. Yeah, it was times 45. Apply. And let's make this guy the same as before. Stainless steel. Okay, file, save. So, there's the 3 pegs. We're done with those, and we're moving on to the next part after this.